So what I'm doing, or what I did is, I noticed within myself, like, hey, wait a minute. For the 10th week in a row, I'm explaining to Claude, like, no, it should be less than 500 characters. Like, wait a minute, this should be a skill. So then I'm doing it well for one final time. And then I ask Claude, create a markdown file that I can use as a Claude skill based on our conversation. And then you have your file and you go into settings and you upload it, give it a name. And for moving forward, every new chat that you start, it's checks.
And we're officially live.
We are officially live, exactly. I mean, this is just an experiment.
So Nick, in a previous episode, I nicely teased that you have never vibe coded a thing. But in this episode, I want to admit that I've never Claude skilled. So I'd hope that this episode you can kind of take me behind the curtain and kind of teach me a couple things around Claude skills, because Claude seems to be like the tool of choice, or it's slowly becoming the tool of choice for most designers and people across tech these days.
It does look like it, doesn't it? Like Claude Code being almost the default for designers and developers, or anyone doing anything with code or software. So they have skills, just like you and I have skills, being able to ride a bike or write your name. It seems like that's the big new thing, to have a whole set of skills attached to an agent going off in the background to do something for you. I'm noticing within myself that I'm using it more these days, and learning and figuring it out. And I think I wanted to start with something really practical. And that is that if you notice that you are doing something more than once and you have to provide the same context, more or less, more than once, that's something you can probably turn into a skill. And then the skill is usually a text file. There's always a text file, I must say, that you load in with your context, your message, and then it uses the skills that you describe within that file for the task at hand. So I think a very practical example is if for this episode, when you upload on YouTube, there needs to be, they ask you 4 tags in the YouTube video. So it's your name, my name, design table podcast, product design. Like there are a few things that you always want to have there. And then the rest is based on this conversation. So now we're talking about Claude skills. So one of the tags should probably be, Claude Code skills for product design. That's probably, because that's the main topic. I'm explaining this to you now. It's like, there should probably be this. You shouldn't do that. And this needs to be there. Like that's everything that you think about when you start writing your tags. And then you would say, well, someone's pretty skilled. He knows what to do. But all that thinking is something you put in that skill file. So when I open Claude, I drop in the transcript of what we're recording now at the end. And then I tell it, create YouTube tags for this episode. And then the skill already mentions, like, if Nick talks about YouTube uploading an episode, use this skill. So then it looks at its skill folder, it finds the correct skill, and then it sees, okay, well, Tyler White needs to be in, Design Table Podcast needs to be in, find the main topic, stay under 500 characters. So it uses all those things that it's learned in that skill, and it gives me a way better output compared to me having to explain it all every time. Every week that I'm working on the episodes, I have to explain 500 characters, include the name, blah, 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 including, feedback and trying again and updating. That's just part of a skill. It saves you a lot of time and the output is way better. And then this is only a very simple example of doing one thing, YouTube tags. But it also works, for example, and then I'll stop rambling. It also works when you have a new feature in your software and you want to do a review skill or an SEO skill. Like I've built this website, this new page, now do /SEO cleanup. And then it checks your new creation in comparison to a few items on the list? Like, is the meta description there? Is there an H1? Is there an H2? Is there only one H1? Like all that kind of stuff. So then it becomes way bigger. Yeah, that I'll stop there because I've talking for a while. Like,
No,
does it make sense at all?
that makes sense.
Hopefully,
Yeah, because I recently switched from ChatGPT to Claude. That's like my main
in full.
tool. So like
did you cancel your subscription or
no, because I
uninstall
still
even or
no, because I still use like the thing that Claude's missing is the voice feature. So I like talking to my pretend friend back and forth as part of my process. So it doesn't
Yeah.
have that chat feature yet. So that's the only reason I'm keeping it. Plus also the
Mhm.
memory feature. But in ChatGPT, you have these things called GPTs, where you're like you train the different chats based on
Yeah.
what they need to execute on. I guess that's Claude's version of it, where it's to your point, it's a file on your desktop that it refers to, or is it something you have to upload? Like how do you access like these skills?
Yeah, you have a setting that you can in the desktop app at least, where you can upload your file. So what I'm doing, or what I did is I noticed within myself, like, hey, wait a minute, for the 10th week in a row, I'm explaining to Claude, like, no, it should be less than 500 characters. Like, wait a minute, this should be a skill. So then I'm doing it well for one final time. And then I ask Claude, create a markdown file that I can use as a Claude skill based on our conversation. And then you have your file and you go into settings and you upload it, you give it a name. And for moving forward, every new chat that you start, it checks based on what you write, if it should use a skill. Or you can say, use this skill. You can be really specific about it. So that's how it works. So it does live within Claude. Like it's easy to maintain, I would say.
Okay. So I guess it's similar to, I guess all LLMs are like picking up this convention where it's like you have a thing. A skill is basically a prompt, right? At the end of the day,
It's more, yeah.
But it's just like it's context that you're feeding the system, and then so you don't have to kind of keep feeding it.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Like it can go even beyond that. So if you know that you will provide a certain type of context, you can already prep the skill by putting in, like, when this skill is used, I will likely talk about client name, company size, whatever. And then it already gets it. And here's how to handle it. Like you can put all of that in. So like if you, like we did an episode on prompting, like you always say, like you start with context and then likely you're going to add all sorts of constraints. Like that second part, the constraints and what to do with the context is part of the skill.
Okay. So it's like similar, because I've been using Cursor a lot and I have like these .md files, which is like the similar thing where it's like it refers to these set of files that guide the system that I'm prompting to. Like, here are the rules that you need to follow every time I give you instructions, so I don't have to keep giving them that massive prompt for context every time.
True. Yeah, that helps. And you can also do like the slash and then skill name, I think, which is also helpful. So that's it's pretty cool, but it's also relatively new. So we're all still figuring it out. And I'm by no means an expert there. Like I have a few things on my list. For example, there is also a way to have a design skill, which is useful in code. So I just now I said like, well, there's an SEO cleanup skill that you can do. I think this word that I'm going to say now is almost as bad as vibe coding, but you can have a skill around your taste, which is the new thing design influencers say. So you can have a skill around your taste when you say like, well, I want the spacing always to be, a multiple of 4, except for these cases, blah, 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 and check my code output against these rules and, the types of shadow that you want and gradient spacing and, overall aesthetic. So that feels like the super advanced way of doing it. But I didn't get there yet, because it's also like the investment is massive. You need to Like skill creating in Claude, it's a lot of back and forth. This is my new skill. Let's do a test. Well, it's not quite right. Let's update the skill. Before you're done, you might as well have done a manual review. So that's why I'm mostly sticking to the basics now.
Okay. Fair. Yeah, I've been using like connectors. I've been using primarily instead of skills. Like so, just like connecting to Confluence or Atlassian, connecting to Figma MCP, connecting to Notion, or connecting to like an analytics tool. It's like it has that context, but it's like it's a resource versus an instruction, which this seems more like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I found an SEO skill made by someone else online, and then including instructions how to get it into your code base. And it was a full SEO audit of your website. So nice. imagine like it was thousands of lines of text. Like it was a massive skill. Including instructions on how to present your findings, sort it based on impact, like high, medium, low. It even gave you an option to do a quick audit or a full audit. So when you run the skill, you get that question first, like, do you want to do full or quick? Like it was almost an app within an app. So it was very impressive. And then because that guy really knew what he was doing, and I know a little bit of SEO, so I could more or less validate the output. Like, this makes sense. This doesn't make sense. It made a lot of sense. It was very impressive. Like it was really helpful. You would still need to have your own knowledge to, like I just said, figure out if you can do this. And you need to. I felt the confidence to just let it run because I was able to see that it made sense. So yeah, that was very impressive. That was for me the moment where I was like, wow, these skills, like out of all the quick releases and bloat and AI tiredness that you might feel, like this was the one thing that's probably going to stick around, like the Claude Skills. Like it really was a wow moment for me.
I'm curious, like, because like this tool is being used more and more, like the only like issue I run into is like the limit, the daily limit, or like the either monthly or the daily limits that you run into depending on what you're trying to execute. Yeah. Exactly. Like, do you have a pro account? Do you have a max account? Like what tier are you leveraging?
I have the max 5 times. So you have 5 and 20 times, I think. Or 5 and times. 10.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you have free, you have pro, and then max 5 and max 10, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Because I have the pro. I have the pro. So I'm if I'm actually doing anything intensive, I'll hit my limit like once a day.
I had the same. Just checked, live on the show. It's max 20 times is the highest tier. What I think is challenging is that it's like the number, it doesn't really make sense. Like it's like max 5, it's 5 times as much as pro. But I don't think they really tell you how much pro actually is. So you can check usage, but I think, it's quite annoying. Like I would rather see like a little progress bar filling up to know when I'm about to run out. And I think in Claude Code, they do tell you like, hey, you're in your last 20%. Just like you said, I ran out of usage on the Pro like every day, but on max 5, I do not. And then I can talk myself out of it. Like I can tell myself that it's okay that I'm now paying 5 times as much because it also allows me to do way more client work. It's the same as last week's episode on portfolio costs. Like for me as a freelancer, it makes a lot of sense to pay extra because it's an investment. Me paying more means me doing more output, means more revenue. But if you are like employed, you have an in-house job, like, yeah, it's almost a waste of your money if you paid for it. Like, would be nice if your employer paid for it. Some do.
Like I pay for mine. I think we're rolling out like internally the max. I don't know what multiple we're getting, but like the max version. Because we're switching from ChatGPT to Claude. But I'm curious, like so you use it on like for your work. Like what are the top 3 skills that you use like regularly during your week?
The SEO one
Okay.
is I think that's why I came up with it as an example, because it's just most top of mind for me. Like I think it's really helpful. Then there's a responsive designness one, if that's how I should put it. So imagine you have your Figma, and then you're putting it into code, and it's mostly desktop, because let's say it's a business to business thing. So it's mostly in dashboards and setting screens. But then they say like, well, it should work on they call it a business tablet, iPad Pro, like something likely to occur on the job. It should work there too. And then usually you're doing the same things. You go from multi-column to one column. And in Tailwind, your text-5XL for a heading on a smaller screen. Usually that 5XL becomes 1 or 2 lower. Like that's repetitive work. So I made a responsive design skill where I just mention like, these are the things I most commonly do. See if it is relevant here, apply, and if uncertain, give me feedback, then we can work on it together, that kind of stuff. Those 2 are the main ones. And then the final one is more around.
Just on that one, like how do you so you mentioned like it's fixing the responsiveness and the SEO. Like what are you, like how is it connected to whatever platform your code base is? Like how is it is it connected to your IDE? Like how is it being deployed?
You can run it in your Claude Code sidebar in Cursor or in Visual Studio Code or whatever you use. So it lives within that Claude sidebar. For me, it's a sidebar. At least I have it always to the right of me. So you can do / and then name of skill.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So you choose. So you're basically choosing your LLM, and then one of them is Claude, and that's what you're. That's what's running in your ID. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. It might be silly to say, but I am I use Claude only. Like even if like I do not have ChatGPT or Gemini or anything else. Like even if I want to look up like a fun fact about a TV show we're watching, and we're curious about like an author, like actor, if it's in another show that we see as well. Like I don't open ChatGPT, I just open Claude. Like it's good enough. I'm not a min-max person that wants to get the best model for every situation. I just have one just to keep it simple, not to be overwhelmed. So for me, it's always Claude. That's what I'm saying. And then the third skill is around content, but that's still in development. Like I'm not 100% happy with it yet.
Okay, a bit more back and forth needed, or like
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, and I'm not going to go on a long rant here, but I think it's like social media, the posts there, like we are getting used to a new normal. Like first people wrote by hand, and then they found tips online how to get more engagement, like that you still had to apply manually.
Yes.
Like finish your social media post with a question, right?
Yeah.
Like here's what I do, and then you end your message with, what do you do? Hopefully getting more people to reply to your message, and then that's good for your likes and your views. That was strange. People didn't like it, and then it became standard. And we've had a few of those cycles, like new thing, everyone does it, everyone hates it, everyone accepts it. Most recently, M-dash. Like, M-dash, it's AI, but now we're all using M-dashes and nobody cares anymore. But we're currently in that new cycle of that thing, and that's the repeating short sentence, with like a sentence of 2 words, high impact period, no nonsense period, and it's not this, it's that. Like, and it's really annoying for me to see, but that's default AI output. So I'm letting it run wild, do its thing, use the skill, and then I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that's repetitive. That's what I see online all the time. And I attach too much value to it, I think, because I don't want to sound like it. Like
I do the same.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have I put the bar. I'm way too strict on myself because I care, but I know most people don't care. And someone shared with me this very interesting article, and I could see like it's fully AI. I could see all the patterns there, and I asked him, "What do you think?" And he told me it's very pleasant to read, and then that was a slap in my face. Like, okay, this person that I respect, that is very smart and good at his job, he doesn't see or he doesn't care. So why do I care? And I'm still debating that and stuck on that skill. Like, because every time I see something that's not like how I would write it, and it's too obviously AI generated, I go back in and fine tune the skill to just say, don't do that. Instead, do this thing. But I'm well aware of me having to accept the fact that it's like going to be 90% correct, and I would still have to fine tune a bit in the end. So yeah, I'm my own worst enemy there, and that's why it's not finished yet. Like, I'm too strict on myself, I think.
I have the same rules in my, like I have I don't have a skill, but I just have I have a prompt that I store in Notion that I kind of paste in every time I want to do like a social media thing, but it's like a page and a half of like context. Do not, and M dash is one of them. So like I have a rule, no M dashes. To your point, it's not this, but that, like that AI context, sentence structure is really annoying. So, and it annoys me too. So it just feels like when you're creating content, it's about something you essentially want it to sound like how you speak. And you're trying to train it to do the same thing, but like in addition to like the retention trick. So it's like the question at the end, and then there's like the engagement loop, which is like a quote from a famous two quotes from a famous person, and then like your personal quote to connect to elevate your status to the same bar as like whoever you're quoting. There's a bunch. I mean, it's not like you're too strict about it. It's like there's value there because you want to. Number one, you want to make it sound authentically you, and then also the little engagement tricks as well.
Yeah, well, exactly, and I put a lot of pride in it. I think I enjoy the crafting process, building something. So I want it to be done well. So I'm not as quick as some people, but I do really believe that the output will be better in the end. It's fun how you say the prompt that you've stored somewhere in a Notion, like that's basically the skill. But I think Claude Skills just makes it easier to maintain. Like, it's there and it tries to be smart to know when to pick it. Like you would have to open Notion, find it, Command C, Command V, paste it in, edit it, make sure that it works for the current situation. Like, all of that is taken care of. You can just start your new Claude chat and it figures out almost all the time correctly when to pick a skill and then also the correct one.
Yeah, so I think Claude just missing the one thing for me it's missing is the conversation. Like because what I do often is so I'm not usually like typing out. If I'm doing a post, for example, let's use like creating a post. Like I'll open up an audio chat and I'll speak my thoughts and then I'll do like the back and forth. Like today we're gonna craft this LinkedIn post and here's my idea. It's like I want to have this structure, et cetera, et cetera. I just want to like word vomit what I want to say, and then I'll have a bit of back and forth. I'll like read that back to me. He's like, oh, do you want something like this? Nah, no, let's edit that word. I don't like that structure. Like that's how I iterate in terms of content. And then I'll get a thing that I can get into my desktop and then I'll edit. I can prompt back and forth via text, but that talking part is really what that's the input that I really want to like give the system versus typing something out.
I do think the Claude app on mobile has voice input, I think, because I accidentally hit it sometimes, but I don't know if it can speak back to you.
I need it to speak back to me, man. That's the one piece. I need to talk to my imaginary friend.
Yeah. Well, if they're smart, they're probably listening to this, or at least listening to transcripts from this, and get a notification.
If you want to talk about
someone
adoption tricks, like get that feature. I'll throw ChatGPT in the garbage. Straight to the garbage.
Yeah. Smart. Yeah. So I mean, so that's skills. Like my default thing to say, in addition to anything new, is to double check if it's useful for you and keep it simple. Because I think it's very easy to feel FOMO, fear of missing out. You feel like, oh, everyone's doing it. I need to find myself a problem to solve. I already have the solution, but there's no real problem. Well, sit this one out. Don't use skills. That's what I wanted to say. But what I'm doing is I'm looking at my week. Like, what am I doing every week in terms of work? Well, I'm always every Wednesday prepping an episode to release. What can I do? Like, what's repetitive? What's annoying? What's something I have to start from scratch every time? Well, then that's something that you can build a skill on top of. And that's something you can do, for example, also for new projects. Okay, whenever I start a new project, I create a Trello board. I send over certain emails, a questionnaire for a new client. I create a Figma board. I schedule a meeting. Like, all of that can be automated. Some of them using skills, but in that case, there's a real thing that you're already doing that you can then do way quicker, which leaves you with more time to do the actual work that you enjoy. But you cannot convince me that you enjoy all that stuff. Setting up all the new blank stuff, like, would be wonderful if you would have automated it.
Yeah, that's probably the next step, right? To automate.
Yeah.
Like, I know I've been trying to get into Perplexity Computer to kind of do things for me as I sleep or as I do other things. I know Claude has a recent update.
Co-work is what they have.
Co-work. Yeah, and it's time. I use co-work, but there's like a timed feature where you can have it execute a task like every morning at 8 o'clock. Should like pull these data sources and create like a dashboard for me.
Yeah, you have to tell me something about this. If you're not sure how advanced you are there, but let's switch seats for a moment, because it looks very interesting. Like co-work / Perplexity, like letting your computer do stuff while you do something else. I assume the computer has to be on, right, and unlocked. Like I would start something now, and then I would go downstairs for playing with the cat or going outside or whatever, and then it does its thing, and then when I come back, it's done. Right? Like, that's what it does.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, I use it. I use it during the, like, I'll have like the I don't know if I talked about this before, but I'll have the Claude plugin in Chrome, and then it opens up that chat sidebar, and you can just give it access to. I mean, there's two ways to do it. You can either open up in the sidebar or go directly from co-work in the app, and it'll just open up a new tab and then execute on whatever you tell it.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, I've programmed it to translate a Word doc to a type form. Like, it built a type form for me based on like the questions I had.
Okay.
And then I didn't go and have a coffee. I just worked on something else while it did that work for me. So it was like navigating the UI, taking screenshots, pasting in content. It was interesting because it was using the little chat feature at the bottom to kind of prompt its way to getting the task done.
It's talking to itself.
It was talking to, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, because I have a couple of questions there, because I'm currently at that stage where it looks really impressive to me, and I really want it to work for me, but I'm not sure yet if it's going to help me solve a problem, or if I first have to find the problem. So one of my questions is, does it take over your mouse while you're on the computer? Or
no,
differently put, like, can you, like, so if I tell Claude co-work or Perplexity, like, sort this folder, give it such and such name structure so that it's easier for me to find, like, will it do it while I'm doing something else?
Yeah, exactly. So I've never actually had it interact with something on my desktop computer. Like, it's usually in browser. So you'll see if you use it like in Chrome, it'll have this kind of orange highlight denoting that it has control over this specific tab, not the whole computer, but a specific tab, and it'll do its thing. So it has, I guess, its own cursor that it's using. So there's no worry in terms of like, you can still do other things, but it's working within that specific task, doing the tasks you've kind of executed.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then the second thing is, like, I really want to be able to let Claude or Perplexity or any of these co-work type things work while I'm sleeping, but I just cannot think of something that would take the majority of my night. Like, I don't feel like I have so much like overhead lying around that it can take over. So, like, what's something that's big enough for you to consider consider it being active while you're sleeping, which is like a 6 or 8 hour time period?
Yeah. So like one thing I want to experiment with is building a feature. So like take like whether it's like a POC or like of a feature, just build a feature on its own. So like how I envision this working, or how I've seen other people do it, is basically you create a PRD of like the feature that you want to work on. And then you translate that PRD into, I don't know what like Claude's version of a .md file is, but like just like you translate that PRD to a file, and it has like all the different features, and then it'll break up those features into like micro tasks. So it's like, it won't one shot the whole thing, but it'll go, okay, we have this giant feature to do. Maybe it's like an onboarding. Let's build step 1 in one shot, 2, 3, 4. And then you can build in like QA as part of that feedback loop. So at the end, so essentially what you could do is like go to sleep, and then it'll have something that it's built based on like a constraint that you've given it. And essentially what this is essentially what like engineering teams do. It's called like spec driven development, which is essentially what you often do for a junior is they're not kind of, there's guardrails you give them. So it's like you create them a file with like instructions. It's like a template. You need to do this, 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 and then the junior will kind of do the work based on like this high level guidance. But that kind of portion now has been given to an LLM to kind of execute on those parameters. So now a junior doesn't have to do it. Your Claude or whatever LLM you're using can now execute on those instructions. So it's a similar thing. So it's like the low hanging fruit, or things that you like, the easy tasks you want to, or the easy features, you can probably just let it do its thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. Then you can also give it like 5 small features just to fill the night. Like, it doesn't have to be one big one.
Yeah. And like, you're just basically being the orchestrator of like these agents that are doing their thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's this big like debate now. It's like companies are shrinking, but it's like, what is that the move? Like, do you want to shrink your company and then like subsidize like the loss of headcount with an LLM, or just arm so it's like, do you want to go from 400 to 100 and just arm that 100 with AI, or just arm the 400 with AI, which is like the move, right? Like, do you want to be more?
I would say
more efficient with less, or more efficient. Exactly. So you want to be more efficient with more.
Yeah. I would say that. Yeah, I would say growth mindset. I think that's what I'm going to do. It's on my backlog list. Is like, I have a server at home, backup server, media server. Like, it's just sitting there. It's a Mac Mini, so I'm very cool.
You are indeed.
But and I'm even cooler because I had the Mac Mini before it became cool.
Of course.
So
ahead of your time.
I'm going to, like we are. So I'm going to put some sort of like Perplexity compute or agent thing on it that I can reference through Slack or whatever, and then let it work on a few things that I want to work on but don't really have the time to work on. Like little improvements that I ran into. I was having a meeting with someone, and he shared a website with me. He asked me, like, what do you think of the website? And I told him, well, the footer says copyright 2025. And he was so happy. Like, I was someone that also found that out. And then we conclude, like, if you have a product and it says copyright another year than the year we're currently in, that's just like we discussed previous episode with the custom domain, like that's the sign that you don't really care, and that's off-putting.
Yep.
Like I can just like that meeting is being transcribed, and I'm like, oh, I should check my website and update to 2026 if I do not already have it. Like that's something I can just copy from the LLM transcript, put it in the Mac Mini, and have it complete that work, right? While I'm doing something else.
Yeah, that's the move. Like the transcript to executable flow is like it's what's becoming more and more used. So like into your example, like just if you were able to kind of invite your MacBook to your meeting and then just say in the transcript, my MacBook, or give it a nickname, whatever, George. George will execute on updating that date in the footer. It'll just do it on your behalf.
I'm going to perhaps name it after a cat or something.
Sure.
Garfield. Just make it fun. Yeah. Well, my own cat.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. I mean that sounds like it's the way to go, especially for smaller tasks, and then have it create a PR that you can review in the morning.
Yeah, it's essentially what you like if you're working for a client or working in house. Like essentially, the cost of engaging you, there should be like, what is the industry standards? Like you should have a 3x multiple of the value. It's like it costs one to pay you, and then you get 3 back. It's like I put $1 in, I get $3 back. I think now with like these skills and this automation is where like the multiples are it's going beyond the 3. It's like 10 or 20x now.
Yeah, I think so. You can just do way more.
Which, I mean, there's risks in that, but yeah, we're doing more now.
Yeah. One thing, perhaps because maybe dedicate a whole episode to it, there's a downside to it as well. And that's just how much, and I'm sure you have an opinion about this, but let's save it. Maybe a teaser for like 10 episodes down the road, but your user base has a limit to how much new features it can take at the same time. And the best example of it is the tiredness that we're all feeling around, oh man, a new tool today. Every day is a new tool. And Anthropic, the company behind Claude, they're releasing so many new features every week. I see so many people comment something like, I cannot keep up. So sure, you can launch a lot 10 times as fast, but your users cannot keep up 10 times as fast. So that's the new bottleneck. But let's save that for another time, because I think that's a relief for many people who are scared that they cannot keep up or that they will lose their job.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I hope this was useful for you. The skill thingy.
I gotta try it. I'm gonna be trying it at least one skill this week. Because I gotta learn from the best here. I feel like I'm behind. I got the FOMO as well.
Well, you don't have to. Like I said before, like only use it if you feel like it's solving something that you're running into during the week. Like, do not find the problem that's not there. A valuable piece of life wisdom there, I think. Just calm down a little bit.
I think, I'll try to do that. All right. Well, till next time.
Till next time.
That was a great episode. So if you like this content and want to hear more, please like and subscribe.
Yeah, and if you want to see more, please go to designtablepodcast.com, Spotify, Apple Music, all the big players and more.